Hello, hello, hello. Hey, friends. Svava Brooks here. If you're stopping by watching this replay, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. As a trauma recovery coach, I am here Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, hanging out with my readers of my journey to the heart and sometimes releasing your authentic self. But I'm super excited to also support the new audiobook that I came out with this January to support the readers of my book. So today the topic is day 28. We are going to be digging deep into why support is important for a healing journey. And so if you're here with us live, please let me know that you're here so I can welcome you. We welcome you to the conversation. Good to see you, my friends. If you have questions about your healing journey or are looking for support, please feel free to chime in. We'd love to know where you're from, what brings you here. Hey, hey EJ, thanks for waving back. How are you doing today, my friend? It took me 3 tries to get the YouTube live stream going today. So that's I actually was going to start it early, but anyways, we made it. Hey, Lady Leo, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. How are you guys? 3 times the charm. There you go, EJ. That's it. That's it. And just like I started saying, our topic today, right? How can we help our brain change, shift its default mode from survival to healing mode? And we do that by putting in place a support system, right? Because I've had some interesting conversations even this week where some of my clients mentioned this is hard. It is really hard to focus on the things that we need to kind of, yeah, really put our focus on to make some shift, right? And change isn't easy, especially when we have bodies and nervous system that have been hardwired and been in survival mode for a while. So, right, our mind tends to sometimes push back on the change. It's like, don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat. We know how to do this. And so, what helps is to surround ourselves with people that are on this journey, that know that 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, one forward, two back, right? And that can remind us we are still making progress, things are shifting. And on those days when it just feels too hard, just so too much, then we lean on our peers. Can you guys relate? All right, I'm back here. Can see the chat. Hey, Cindy, welcome. Lady Leo says, I'm in a very strange place. Not sure if I'm isolating or just needing some time to myself. Interesting, right? But great awareness, my friend. Hey, Rob, how are you doing? Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. And speaking about sometimes there are parts that don't want us to change, right? That resist the change. A few of you have joined me through the mindfulness course that I teach, right? We talk about the automatic patterns, right? Our brilliant body and our brilliant mind, hardwired to protect us, always doing the best it can. So I'm glad you guys are all here. So let's just start with, like I said, how are you guys doing? EJ, yeah, none of us have those part that resist change. Nope. Got it. Got it. I know I didn't. I know I didn't. All my changes were nice and smooth and dreamy. So, I'm doing okay, Rob. I'm doing okay. I managed to go for a walk in a little bit of dry weather today, and that felt nice. I haven't even been taking pictures walking in the rain lately. Um, so it was nice to get out and it was dry for a little bit. So I'm doing pretty good. It's been a busy week. I can't believe Thursday's here. Hey Wes, welcome friend. Still getting my TRE done. Yay! I was just thinking about you. I was gonna shoot you an email just to ping you and see how you're doing. I'm so glad to hear that you're doing well. Thank you, Lady Leo. Yes, I have this. There's two directions that I tend to go in on my walks. I go um, either down to the river because I love the water, and or I go in to the neighborhood with all the rose gardens. And obviously the roses aren't there right now, but there's some nice streets, tree-lined streets to walk. And the river is always nice. So Lady Leo, I shared a little snap on Facebook today, the view from the pedestrian bridge that I walk. So always lovely there. Always lovely. Portland with all those bridges. Yes, Cindy, that's right. I took you around in that neighborhood. That's right. It's near where we went and had our sushi. So, give you a little placement of my neighborhood. Yes, those roses, right? That's right. That's right. So we guys, we're doing okay. We're hanging in there. Lady Leo says she's going through something is shifting. Something is shifting. It's interesting, right? Sometimes when we're changing, things are changing. The world is shifting, right? It's like, am I coming or am I going? All right, Rob. Thank you, Rob. I saw that you were walking earlier today too. My fave is the river, says Lady Leo, especially on the cloudy, rainy days like today. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. I thought we were getting snow a few days ago. It started to snow, and I was on a call with a client, and by the time I was done, it had stopped. So that's how much snow we got. So yes, feeling that shift, says Cindy. Excellent. Excellent. So I'm going to put it out there, right, on our topic today, right? What sometimes helps is to recognize, right? First, the awareness, right? Am I on autopilot or am I in survival mode? Have I lost my focus on, right, where I'm directed with my healing right now? And of course, right now, with all that's going on in our world and the uncertainty around COVID, these are hard times. So that's a given right now. We are going to be giving ourselves a little bit of extra grace because of that. I need to seek out more what is shifting and take my focus off everything that appears to be staying the same. Excellent, Wes. Excellent, my friend. I like that. I like that. because that's how it happens. That's actually how it shifts. We are so used to our autopilot, right? Our mind is just focusing on what we're used to focusing on, and we expect that. So when we are shifting our attention and opening our awareness, opening up our possibility that there's something else, right? And then recognizing what maybe is coming to our awareness, right? Without judgment, accepting it. Yeah, it's hard to see sometimes if we're always looking at the same thing. Yes, exactly. I hear you. I hear you. Absolutely. And this is where, right, our bodies are, right? I'm like looking for a word. Um, right? The body, right, doesn't lie. The body tells the truth, right? So if we sometimes turn to the body, because the head is often focused on the stories, but when we turn towards our bodies with our attention and our awareness, start to notice what's going on with the body, and then we can notice how what shifts as a result of turning towards the body, right? What am I noticing? Am I open, curious, or am I defended, protecting? Lady Leo's asking a question here. About the situation I spoke to you about. I sort of feel betrayed by him, though he did not. Fearful, I slip back into trusting. Um, Lady Leo, is it into slip into trusting this particular person, you mean? So give me a little more information, Lady Leo. And Cindy, it looks like you started typing something. So it says I. So, right? So recognizing our bodies, because our bodies will tell us what's there. Is it resistance? Is it a defense? What am I, right? What am I protecting? And the things that we do to protect ourselves, to defend ourselves, because the things that we maybe don't want to feel. So sometimes the initial emotions can be anxiety, shame, or guilt. So recognizing the tension pattern and the conversation that happens as a result of maybe something unresolved in the body, that is then the underlying is a belief, shame, right? And the hard feelings that can be underneath that. Lady Leo, no, just the feeling of I shouldn't keep trusting. It was safer because I thought he was safe. Oh, got it. Yes, yes, Lady Leo. Yes. Can you guys relate to what Lady Leo is asking? That sometimes, right, our world is shattered with news that a person whom we thought was a certain way wasn't, or right, we learned something about something that we didn't know, and that can kind of shatter our world. our view, and then we start to maybe even distrust ourselves. And right? So yes, Lady Leo, it is normal, right? So sounds like you're sorting through that, my friend, right? To recognize you are still, there are still trustworthy people, right? And you can still trust yourself. You can still trust your own feelings. Be gentle with yourself. Yes. Yes, that is hard. That is hard. And so what helps also, Lady Leo, right, is to recognize when you're closing your heart because of that, right? That maybe there's stuff from the past that's being triggered. To do your best to stay calm, stay curious, um, right? Keep coming back to you. I hear you, Lady Leo. Exactly. Exactly, my friend. Exactly. But this is where we kind of get to practice, right? It's like you've discovered something, like you said, I sort of like who I'm becoming. I like that I'm starting to trust myself. I like that the boundaries I'm starting to set, and that I'm, being more open and honest. I'm just don't want to assume those are your words, but yeah, so when things like that happen, right? You get to sort through that, have your feelings about it, and to remind your inner child, right, that just because that person wasn't trustworthy, right, doesn't mean that everybody else is, because that's our wounded self, our inner child, who is like, it's like all or nothing. It's like when you hear yourself say everybody's this or nobody or all or never, always, um, right? Yes, trusting your feelings is very hard cycle to break, Cindy. That's right. And that this is exactly where it's helpful to have a peers, a support group where we get to do, right? We talk about doing reality checks, right? Lady Leo, it's like you bring your thoughts to people that you trust, and ask, like, this is what's coming up for me. I'm kind of confused about it. I can feel this and I can feel this, but this, kind of feels like it's coming maybe from my inner child, or because we are, through this healing process, developing our authentic adult, the grown up. And that's what grown ups do, right? They're curious. And we by exploring, practicing, figure out our truth, and trusting your feelings, trusting your gut feelings. I'm scrolling back up here. Wes asked, I did a body meditation the other day and I felt my attention called towards the heart space. After meditating on it for a while, I received the message that this is where my body feels fear and anxiety. Oof. That's beautiful though, Wes, right? How beautiful. Because, right, your body feels fear and anxiety because this is, chances are, this is where you closed up, right? You closed off your heart. So you feel it in your chest. So I'm inviting you, Wes, to continue, right, what you learned, to place your hand on your heart. Yes, most intensely. So I asked myself if my body is working for me, not against me, as I've always believed, then how may I be able to shift my perception of what my body is trying to tell me? Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly. Right? Your body is showing you it needs help. It needs help with the anxiety. Yes, it needs it needs help. Like it's like, yes, I feel you, I hear you, I see you. It makes sense that there's anxiety here, right? It makes sense that there's fear here, right? And then we get to ask what's underneath. What's underneath? Be curious about the anxiety, right? As we calm our bodies, come into the body, do your best, right, to name the maybe the core emotion that's underneath the anxiety, underneath the fear, right? Well, fear is a core emotion, but what's the fear about? It's like, why is this body so scared? Right? Maybe it's your little boy, your inner child, right? And let that little boy know, I'm here. I got you. I got you. Do our best to name that feeling. Yes, I hear you, Wes. Anyone else have that fear about not being enough? Anyone else? You're not alone, my friend. Thank you, Lady Leo. So, right, we can keep coming back to why is it that I feel like I'm not enough, right? What's the story? What's the story that I made up? EJ. EJ is on a whole nother wavelength. She's just too much. Oh my goodness. Right? So the not enoughness validated, accepted, right? And can we stay with it? Can we stay with the feeling of not being enough? Right? Can we breathe through that feeling in the body? Right? They say that most like emotions are only last about 90 seconds, but because we have the stories that show up to validate that feeling, we get lost in it. Yes, imposter syndrome. I hear you, Wes. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Cindy. Yes, do our best to ride the wave. Like, what is this about? What is this about for me? I wonder where it came from. I wonder who told me that. What was the story that I made up? Thank you so much for sharing this, Wes. As you can see, my friend, you are not alone. They say that our emotions, right, our feelings, they is like a wave on the ocean. When it starts to peak up, the feeling, we try to control it and push it down before it reaches its peak because it will always come down. But we, on the way up, we don't know how high it's going to go before it goes down. So we try to, right? The autopilot either represses, avoids, distracts feeling the feeling. And then the mind comes in with the meaning making, right? What's going on here? There you go, Cindy. I'm with you, like contractions in childbirth. So, guys, there you have it. Yes, if you can, Wes. Yes, if you can recognize with your awareness, huh? interesting. I'm having a feeling. Where am I noticing the feeling? Ride the wave with your breath. Yes, instead of pushing it down right away, it's information. It's coming up for a reason. It's going like, "Hey, there's something going on here. Can you give us some clarity? Can you give us some clarity on this?" And if it's anxiety or shame or guilt, right? And that because we are so quick to repress, we don't always even identify them. We are just, oh, I'm feeling something, lid on. I'm feeling something, shut it all down, right? So part of it is to slowly, okay, I'm going to explore this feeling thing. I'm going to explore, right, as we do in TRE, I'm going to explore being present to the energy moving in my body, right? I'm going to explore, like, right, for some of us, it's tears, right? For some of us, it's finding our voice, speaking the truth, right? The sadness, like this is sadness. So this feels like shame, or this feels like anger. This feels like name what you're feeling, right? And for us, anything that we were feeling was bad because our perception was that it was bad. And it felt big and overwhelming because most of us sat on it since childhood. So it was big and overwhelming. And we didn't see anyone do this in a healthy way. So name the emotion. Do your best to validate it. Interesting. I am feeling some anger, or I am feeling some grief. Oof, right? It makes sense that I'm feeling grief. It makes sense that I feel angry. It makes sense that I'm excited. Stay with it. Stay with it. And like Cindy said, breathe through the contraction as you push the baby out. What's the truth? I love that, Cindy. So, Cindy, I'm scrolling back up here. You had a comment here earlier. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Why is it hard for parents to hear truth of their adult kids? My mom still breaks my trust and I still struggle. I'm so sorry, Cindy. That is hard. I hear you. So I see two things in here, right? Why is it hard for parents to hear truth of their adult kids? Are you referring to your kids, or you being your mom's kid? No, just help me out here. Maybe it's just because how I'm reading it. But if I hear you right, oh, scroll even further up. Okay. Okay, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. How far up? Okay, I've gone all the way to the top, Cindy. So please help me out. So, okay, there you go. I'm recognizing that my mom can't hear of my childhood because it doesn't match hers. The difference is I can hear my kid's perception of growing up without judgment. Yes. Okay, got it. Sorry. I just overlooked there was another comment. Ah, I hear you, Cindy. I hear you. Um, because I would say it is hard for most parents to feel that they failed their kids in some way, um, or didn't protect them, or something happened on our watch. Um, I certainly know when I was doing my healing, right, and had to look back and see where I had let my kids down, um, meaning that I was unavailable in terms of being, a warm, connected presence for them. I was very cold and aloof and unavailable, very busy. But it's, um, when they came and wanted to express their experience um, of their childhood, basically, I made it a point, no matter how hard it was, and I can still remember the first few times, is like I was flooded by shame. It was very painful. Um, and so I did my best to breathe through it, just like, Cindy, we talked about earlier, because I knew the pain of, I tried to tell my mom when I was younger, and she ignored it, couldn't handle it. And so I knew the pain and the suffering that that caused me. So I was committed to doing whatever I could to be present for them and to make it okay for them to tell me whatever it was that I had done to hurt that hurt them. Um, and so it got easier because I also realized that again, it was helping them. And I'm very sorry, Cindy, that it's hard for your mom, because I know obviously it would be very healing for you to be heard, but it sounds like your mom still has, kind of her protection, her wall up. Maybe it just feels too much for her to hear. So I'm very sorry that that's the situation that you're in, because I think for a lot of us, when our parents don't believe us, it really it deep inside it really makes us doubt sometimes. I know so many of my clients who are like, I just wish my parents would believe me. And when our parents don't, and I'm not saying that she doesn't believe all of what you've shared with her, or your childhood experience is very different from what she's saying, but I know it can make a difference. Um, but I also recognized, some of the journey I've been through with my mom, that when I started telling her and I started my own healing, of course, she was very resistant to hearing my story. Um, but eventually she came around, and I think also for us, when I got very clear that my mom simply, you know, sh as even as much as it did still hurt that she didn't wanna hear it, that I found, other ways to talk about it and to be heard and validated, um, by others that believed me. And so kind of the pressure that I had on my mom validating, um, I think, you know, I basically stopped going to her with trying um, to talk about it until things actually did um, turn around later down the road. So, but that maybe is a different chat. So it would be, but she can't handle it, but helps me to not be too hurt when my kids share with me their letdowns. Yeah, exactly, Cindy. I mean, I think that's beautiful that you are providing for your kids, right? The things that, unfortunately, your doesn't seem like your mom can provide for you right now. Um, So, but I'm very sorry, Cindy, because I know it's hard, and I'm sure you're not alone, right? I'm sure there's people here in this space where maybe we have given up on trying to tell our parents, and or our parents or family members have made it clear that they don't want to know. So I see your question, Rob. I'm going to assume it's for Wanda. Um, yeah, I hear you, Cindy. It feels good to being heard. Yes, yes. And also, right, it's um that, like, for me, it was my little girl, right, who, like, desperately wanted her mommy to hear her and had put a lot of weight and stock in my if my mom doesn't believe me, maybe this didn't happen. But as I did a lot of inner child work and made it safe for my little girl to bring those things to me, I no longer made it, wasn't telling my inner child, "Oh, that can't be true if if mom doesn't say it's true." It was like, "No, I'm your mom now. I was there. I remember. Yes, that did happen." Right? We don't need mom's approval. I'm your mom now. I can validate it. So, um, we can, do a little bit of that for ourselves, but still the other is very, very painful and hard. I understand. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you, friend? Lady Leo, Cecilia Tyson. Oh, I'm so sorry. Excellent, Cindy. Yes, there is quite a bit that we can do with our inner children. So, because sometimes we have, right, this story, the powerful story that we need to be heard, and we want validation from this person, right, from this human, because they played a key part in our lives and maybe still do. And this is almost, part how we end up protecting ourselves. Uh, we intervene and remind that inner child, like, it's too late for your mom to be your mom, right? I'm your mom now, and you can bring all that to me, right? I will hear you. I will never make you feel wrong for speaking the truth. So, yeah. Awesome. Yes, Wes, good. Elizabeth, glad to hear you're doing well. All right, Lady Leo, take good care. Thanks for being here. Good to see you, my friend. Keep us posted how you're doing. Keep me posted, all right? So let's see. I had taken down some notes about um, this topic. Yeah, so what I encourage us to do, and this, right, I do myself as well, of course, is to, when I check in with myself, when I set my intention for the day, at some point throughout the day, and make it a point to notice, how am I doing today? How am I doing mentally? How am I doing emotionally? How am I doing physically? How am I doing socially? Right? And this is where we can build on, how we're feeling, right? Often our cues, like, how am I doing mentally? How is my mental health today? How are my feelings today? Right? And how am I doing in my body? And how am I doing socially? Am I isolating? Do I feel connected? These are all cues for us. And this is all happening inside of our body. So turning towards our body and maybe doing some deep breaths, maybe some grounding. Where am I in the stress cycle? Am I socially engaged? Am I in my the fight or flight? Or am I feeling numb, distant, disconnected? And then what tools do you have in your tool belt to bring you back? To do your best to bring yourself back into the body, into a grounded, right, social engaged state where you feel like, right, my self care was good today. I'm feeding myself, right? My mind is relatively calm. I'm taking good care of myself. I'm taking care of business, being productive, right? Navigating this body, it's a full-time job. It is the job. So, and so it is, right? The daily cycle, the daily cycle. And it gets easier, right? Because if we aren't the one setting in the intention, leading with the focus, then your autopilot comes in. It's efficient, it's fast, it knows what it's done for years, it pushes you out of the way, and off it goes. So, coming back to the body and to your heart, am I being calm, curious, connected, compassionate, clear? Do I know what I need? And that's it, coming back to what you need. Because so much of our challenge is because of those unmet needs, and we don't know how to meet those needs. And when we turn towards them, recognize, and on the days where I'm lost in that sea of not knowing, right? Then we go to our peers, right? Today I'm struggling with these thoughts, right? Like just like we've done here. And this is how we gently remind each other, I hear you, I see you, I feel you. You're doing a good job. Yes, absolutely, Cindy. You have broken that cycle, and your kids benefit from your effort. Absolutely. Keep talking, Cindy, right? Keep talking, as we know, right, Cindy? Talk, talk, talk. Absolutely. We know it's when no one in the family, when we're not talking, that's that's when, right, we have secrets or people aren't able to come forth and talk about it. We have to give our kids the language to communicate. So, and while you're doing your best with your kids, a beautiful job for your kids, you're working so hard on your own healing, right? Do your best to send your mom maybe some compassion and love, right? That maybe one day, because of your effort and your work, that one day she will see, she will learn from you and see how you're talking to your kids. So, Let's hope, right, Cindy? I mean, and I can say because I had no idea that I would be able to talk this openly with my mom one day. And but it happened. It happened. And yeah, and like what, maybe 10 years ago or more. Yeah, I didn't think I would ever be having this conversation with my mom, meaning talking about what happened. So, and that's what I keep saying. Well, if she can do it, there's hope for all moms, Cindy. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. That's great, Cindy. That's great. So I wanted to give you guys an assignment, a question, some journaling for you, right? Because sometimes we already know. I think a lot of the times we know what it is that we need, right? So give you an assignment to move forward on my healing journey now, wherever you are on your healing journey. This is just a suggestion. EJ. Okay. Take it if you like it, leave it if you don't. So, to move forward on my healing journey now, the first thing I have to do is fill in the blank. Just play with it. Just see what comes. And sometimes when we just let ourselves write whatever comes, see what your body and your mind will come up with. To move forward on my healing journey right now, the first thing I have to do is blank. And if maybe it already came up for you, maybe you didn't even have to write it. Maybe you're like, huh, it's interesting. Maybe you're already working on it. It's very clear. You have clarity around what you're working on. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Wes. Yes. Right? We're looking for clarity. And it helps us to have clarity. What am I doing? Excellent, Wes. Good. So I would love it if anybody wants to share. If not, right? Keep me posted. Um, but sometimes I trick myself like this and I tell myself I'm confused. And then I just sit and think about it and I write it out. It's like, what's the very first thing that I need to do? And bam, there it is. Okay, I guess I'll just start with that. There's clarity, then I know what step to take, the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. So this is it, my friends, right? Our willingness to heal, the steps that we need to take, right? The process that someone show us, where am I going? Why am I doing this? And then we need a place to practice. We need a place to practice. Like when these thoughts come up, right? Is this just me or am I going crazy or is this normal? Right? Like Wanda shared with this earlier. Is this is this normal? Like when I experience this, now I feel this. Anybody else feel this way? And this is where we can help each other out, my friends. Because when we heal behind closed doors, right? Of course, yes, we will, right? Do our work behind closed doors. But when we can bring it out in the open and share with others, we recognize, oh, wait a minute, right? Other people are feeling how I'm feeling. Other people are having the experiences I'm having. Maybe I'm not so bad. Maybe I'm not so wrong. And for me, it was maybe I'm not so stupid, right? I felt stupid my whole life. And it's like, okay, if they can do it, there's hope for me. And I started seeing myself in other people, and people are willing to share their process, their struggles, and also their wins. So we heal faster together. And with that, my friends, I got a card for us. And I know EJ knows exactly what card that is. One day, yep, one day she woke up, or he, and decided it was time to breathe. It was time to breathe. Right? And speaking of giving birth earlier, speaking of riding through the contraction, speaking of riding through the emotion, right? The 90 seconds, come back to your breath. Come back to your breath. The fastest way to change your state, whatever state you're in, anxious, right? Taking a deep breath, slowing your exhale tricks the body into, okay, she is or he is slowing down the breath. That means we're safe. There's no reason to be anxious, right? When we can slow down the exhale, we calm down, because usually when we get anxious, our breath gets really shallow, and we can expand and push, and are pushing down our diaphragm with our deep breaths, right? Gets movement in the body, and movement in the body means we're safe. The tighter and more contracted we are, the more we have the perception of being under attack, not safe. Like we're hiding, we're curling up, we are freezing. Yes, exactly. And well, and I've said this here before, Cindy. I'm saying this because you are here. Um, PJ, because it wasn't until I gave birth that I really connected with the power of the breath, because I was able to actually breathe through some of those contractions that I thought were going to kill me. So, breathing is so overrated, says EJ. Yes, but here's the thing, right? We have access to oxygen. We can take as much as we need. Are you taking what you need? Are you taking as much oxygen as you need? If you started practicing deeper inhales and exhales, it's life changing. Oxygen is what we need. You're getting detention, EJ. So, your assignment this weekend, practice some breaths and explore, if you like, the question: to move forward on my healing journey now, the first thing I have to do is, right? And I hope you guys do whatever you need to do to spark some joy. Do your best to stay safe and healthy. Go out into nature. I can see that Sue probably went off to bed tonight. I'm really appreciating the nature shots that she's been posting for us in the journey to the heart. So there you go, Rob. When I have hay fever and asthma, I understand the breathing thing. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. I hear you. Well, with that, thank you so much, my friends, for being here. If this conversation was helpful to you, please give me a thumbs up here on YouTube. That helps me to reach more people. It's always just so lovely to be here with you all. And I will be back here Thursday, same time, same place. You can subscribe, and if you hit the gray bell there, then you get notifications when I go live. And with that, have a beautiful week, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. You're welcome, Wes. Thanks, everyone. Good luck, everyone. Take good care.